Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Raymond J. Negro, Beyond Failure to Reach Success. And today, what I'm going to talk about is the point of no return. And, I want to start out. I have two pretty good quotes. I think they're exceptional quotes, by the way. And one's by Michael Bernard Beckwith. And action without vision is fantasy. Vision without action is chaos. So I'll repeat that again. Action without vision is fantasy, right? Vision without action is chaos. And that's by Michael Bernard Beckwith. And that leads me to my topic, which is the point of no return. And, the point of no return is a place where when you're committing to something, when you're all in and you're all involved and you're just ready to do something you've never done before, and you're ready to become the person that you've never been before. When you're ready to do that, that becomes the point of no return, right? When maybe we always use the gym. I like to use a gym analogy, but when you decide to just cut loose and stop doing certain things that aren't benefiting you, maybe it's hanging out with people that you shouldn't be hanging out with, right? Maybe it's stop doing whatever it is you're doing that keeps you from achieving those goals, right? So most people have a lot of goals. They have a ton of goals, and there's a saying, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's, most people have a clear path to a lesser goal, right? So they don't really have that milestone goal, that keystone goal that keeps them motivated and inspired to take action. Something from within has to be like pull you and compel you towards a future that you want and you desire, and that that you would feel, your identity becomes that future. So when you create that vision, that direction, and a vision is more than a direction, but if you're just thinking about it, it's just like Michael Bernard Beckwith said, it's a fantasy. And that other part is vision without action is chaos. Think about it. If you don't know where you're going, anywhere will do, right? And you will end up not having a focal point of where you want to go. Like the thumbnail on the opening of this shows a red dot, and that dot is where we're all avoiding. And, it's a threshold. We're like crossing a threshold of where we want to go. So when we have that point of no return, when we've committed and devoted, right? Because I believe you could break commitments. You can't really break devotion, because once you're devoted to something, that I believe is crossing that threshold, right? And I always, this is an old movie. Most people probably will not know it, but it was called The Crossroads. And it was this guitar guy who wanted to be the best guitarist in the world. And he sat at this crossroads waiting to meet the devil. And I think he went there day in and day out, day in and day out. And finally, the devil, he traded his soul to be the greatest guitarist on the planet and all this wealth. But at the end, the devil got to capture his soul. But that's not what I'm talking about. But the point is being that he fully went all in. He committed to giving up his life for something phenomenal and great, which the end didn't, the end result of that wasn't too keen or great. But the point is when you commit to something, when you devote, because what we do is we're conscious beings, we're conscious human beings. So we actually can have a lot of avenues and a lot of interests. But the thing is, those interests just become generalities instead of being specifically intentional about one thing. It's like my one thing is I want to be known as one of the greatest coaches on the planet, right? And that takes me doing these uncomfortable, wonderful videos day in and day out, which I love to do. I do like them, but again, they are uncomfortable, right? Because it's something that, I have to commit to. But the thing is like I have magic in my mind that I want to share with other people, because it's stuff that I really, truly believe in. And I believe once you commit to something, it's like you get it's funny, once you start getting the results of what you committed to, you like build intentional confidence, and you also build a focus, like an unwavering focus, and kind of becomes like a magnifying glass. And once you really burn into what your core desires are and wants are in life, and you identify yourself as that person, right? You take those actions, and those actions, you just feel good, force multiplied. You get better as you do them. I know by like the 1,000th YouTube video that I'm going to be great. There's no doubt about it. I just have to put in the reps concurrently so I can be better, so I could go from good to great to world class. And a lot of people is, they have this point of no return, but it's a pre-commitment to your future self. And you have to let everything else go of your former self. But most people can't get rid of their past. It's stamped in your consciousness. I have some things that I still deal with to this day, but I also look at them as lessons, right? You could look at them as lesions, or you could look at them as lessons. But if you look at them as lessons, they're just a part of something that you have a perception of. It may not even be the truth. It just might be your perception. It's a whole other issue that we could go into. But when you look at things and you see them for what they are, and you don't attach that emotional response constantly, you look at it like, I was this way. Now I can become this way, right? You look at it as leading you towards where you want to go, instead of debilitating you and taking you out, which most people do, But when you commit to something, when you have that like heartfelt desire of who you are, right? And it's like who you want to create, right? And creating something is about you accreting value in yourself in the direction that you're choosing, in that point of no return of whatever it is you want to be good at, and not looking as the excuses to serve you to be where you are, which most people do. They use those excuses to serve them. Then you know what happens? Some people have so many goals that they don't know which one to choose, so they choose them all. I'm 100% guilty of this. I still have some things that fritter away my attention, but I have to cut loose of them. And they're literally like a Atlas Shrugged Ayn Rand book, where the cover of that book is a man just holding onto this boulder, and he's being laid down on the ground by it. Instead of being able to hoist it up in the air and control it, he's being controlled by it. And most people, they haven't crossed the threshold and committed and devoted to what it is that they're looking for to live that great life, right? And it's like the point of no return is like you've just committed, so there's no going back. It's like that saying, and I found out it was debunked, but like that Cortez thing of burning the ships, right? Where you just burn the ships, and you know what? There's no going back, man. There's no going back to that safe comfort zone. But when you're focused, when you're laser focused, you know exactly what you want, and you just commit to that, and you figure out a plan, and you make like maybe a 3-year vision, maybe a 25-year vision is uncomfortable. I know I'll be doing this for the next 25, 30 years till I'm underground. There's no doubt about it. I've committed. I've made an intentional decision to move forward with everything I have, because I'm obsessed with getting better in, this focus of being a guide and helping people guide themselves to their better version of themselves within, right? And finding the experiences that fulfill them and helping them put that into play as quickly as possible so they could get there and get those results right away, So, I'm looking at my notes here, but who you've been, you get to create the meaning of your former self so you can project into the future of who you intentionally want to be, This is where you start to shape presently and in concurrent time to who you're being now, right? Because the way to become that person that you want to become in the future is who you're being now. Who you're being now. If you're doing things like hanging out with people that you should be hanging out with, drinking beers in the driveway, I never got that. I've never been there. Or just doing things that just waste a lot of time because you're avoiding something that's going to prevent you from moving forward into what you want, right? But when you commit to that one goal, that one like keystone goal, in the words I think Ben Hardy says that keystone goal. Also, Brian Johnson, one of my former mentors, says keystone goal. Like there's a keystone arch, right? If you've ever been to any kind of European destination or a castle, you'll notice that there's bricks that build an arch, literally like that. I don't know, try to do my best arch. And if one of those bricks gets loose, right, the whole thing just falls apart because that one stone that's embedded in that door frame keeps that door frame together. And it actually helps balance the whole entire arch of, the whole entire building. So that keystone goal that you have is going to be the driver of what you want. And when you, cut loose of everything else that's preventing you from getting that, you just get a focus, like a goal focus on that one goal. Doesn't mean things in the future won't evolve into morphing into something better. But when you say, you know what, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to focus on this for the next, 3 to 5 years. And I'm going to get exceptional. And I'm going to be one of the greatest. And here's the thing I heard a coach speak about was like, you know what, she's one of the world's worst singers. And I can attest to that because I could hear it in her voice. But she would sing, and she's tone deaf, and she has no key, and she has no, like, you wouldn't want to be in the room when she's singing. It sounds more like she's howling, like a howler monkey. But the thing is that she knows, like, she had a desire to be an opera singer, right? But when her coach coached her, she found out that she just wanted the glory of being on stage and being recognized for what it was that she wanted to do. And she wanted that experience. But what she actually found out was that her vision of what she was looking to create was to be a public speaker, right? And have the same accolades as that thing. Sometimes our goals aren't really specific to what we want to do. Another mentor of mine named Andy, same thing. Like when he was growing up, he wanted to be a rap artist. And the thing is that that's what he thought he wanted. He thought it would be phenomenal to do that. But when in actuality, he became a public speaker. And in doing so, he fulfilled what he wanted to do. But his goal at the time was in the wrong direction. So really think about the experiences that you want to produce and be proactively intentional about in your life. Because you know what? Most people say, you know what? I just want $1 million. All right. In actuality, if $1 million isn't as much money as people think it is after it's taxed, the devaluing of the dollar and all that. But the thing is maybe that's what you want at first. But what is the experience of the life that you want to live day in and day out? If you could do anything, you have to work. You have to, the three things that drive life are energy, work, and love. So when you hit that point of no return and I want to do this, and you're intentional about it, you're willing to put in the reps day in and day out. Like concurrently for me, I'm building out an email list, and I'm learning copy, persuasive copy. So what I'm doing, one of my mentors told me, he said, I want you to write out my letters, right? He has these letters, and they're like 15, 20 pages. Literally, my hand hurts. And I just spent about an hour and a half rewriting his letter, right? And he, and also writing this letter with morals, with ethics, with the duty, responsibility, and obligation to be, truthful and honor and authenticity with who I am and what I'm giving to the world with each word that I'm putting down there. So I'm learning what he did, and he served, probably 300 to 500,000 people, but these ways of being communicate to the world what you're working towards doing, what you're working towards being. So every day I commit to writing an hour and a half of rewriting this copy, this sales copy, they call it, right? But I look at it as help copy, right? I'm helping people discover that, they're an expert, and then move them into an authority status, and then helping them start, grow, launch, and scale their business to what it is they're looking to do. But the thing is, it's when you reach that point of no return, when you look up and you say, you know what, there's no going back. This is what I want to do. It's the end game. It becomes the end game. It's also another example would be like Elon Musk, who says, you know what, I want to die on Mars. Isn't that crazy? Like, he wants to die on Mars. Think about that, right? His vision is creating a sustainable life on this little red planet, like that little red dot I have in the beginning of my thumbnail. That's where he wants to end his life. Whether or not he wants to sit in a wheelchair and just chill and look out to the next generation, or maybe set the bar, right, for the next person who's going to populate another planet. I think that's astounding. When you have a vision that's that big, think of all the other people that could fit under that vision, right? Maybe your vision isn't that big, and it doesn't have to be, but it has to be big enough to attract people that want to work with you, that want that A-class lifestyle that you're going to help them create. And, I'm kind of going off the topic here, but the point of no return is knowing exactly, specifically, what it is that you want to do in this one great life. Because most of us fritter away our attention. We let things distract us. I'm definitely guilty for that, because I love to learn. I'm a personal development growth junkie, and I just love, like, I see something, I want to consume it, I want to learn it, because what I do is I take all this stuff and then I help other people along their way, and I think that's what's important to me. But when you reach that point of no return, you just do what you must do day in and day out, right? You commit, and it becomes what it is. That's what it is. What is. So, in leave of you guys today, what is the one specific goal that one thing, not 5 things, not 10 things, but the one thing that would possibly domino effect, knock out all the other dominoes of the other things that you want to do? What is that one thing that you could do? Maybe you can write that goal down and be specific about it, and then ask levels of why. Why do I want to do that? Maybe you want to change lives. Maybe you want to save lives. Why else do I want to do that? Right? Because, I value changing people's lives, because if I can make a life better, I can affect other people around those people's lives and make their life better. Why else? Why else would you want to do that? Because if you help enough people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want, right? And it could be financial freedom. It could be having that financial wherewithal so you can have a great life, so you can contribute to society and give back, whatever that is. Maybe you want to feel a certain level of significance. Maybe it's love and connection. Maybe it's growth. Maybe it's certainty. Maybe you like variety. Maybe you want to do a few different things. Whatever that is for you. Well, why else is that, right? And maybe you'll connect from your head to your heart, and you'll find out that, you know what, I want to do that because when I was a little guy or a little girl, no one helped me. And for me, the reason why I became a guide, some people call a coach, I don't like that word because I know it's a tool, but is I had a lot of bad guides. I had a lot of bad coaches in my life. And they did some damage, right? And when people do damage to you, I realized, like, I don't ever want to lead someone down a path that isn't a true expert or a true authority in what they do, right? I want to be an expert. I want to be an authority in what I do so I can communicate that to others and help them get where they want to get as quickly as possible. So whatever that is for you, what is your keystone goal? What is that one thing, that divine thing, right? That one divine thing. Make believe there's a dot up there, that point of no return, that would give you an exceptional life, right? Because, you're passionate about it, and also you're willing to suffer through it, right? Because people think people just do what they want to do. It's literally that 5% of what you do that you're great at. Everything else around it, once you get to a certain level, you're going to have to brace the suck on that. But the thing is like, find that thing, that point of no return that would give you the gift of life, right? I'm going to end on that note, but please answer below. What's the one goal that you want to achieve in this one great life? Take care. Have an amazing day. Be exceptional.